Save in a meeting notice. Adequate notice of this meeting was given to the public 48 hours in advance of the date, setting forth the date, time, location, and type of meeting. Notice was sent to the Daily Record, the Observer's Unit, and the Washington Township Clerk, and was posted on the district website at www.wtschools.org. All please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to enter executive session to discuss negotiation matters. All in favor? We'll be in exec session for approximately 1 hour. No action taken. Thank you, everybody. We're sorry we ran a little bit late in executive session, so I appreciate your patience. Moving on to President's comments, and I'll be quick, given we're late and we have a few presentations also tonight. But I just wanted to again point out that all the road construction that occurred lately within our town. I want to thank you to the parents for being understanding. There's been many disruptions with roads closing. Additionally, I would like to thank our central office, transportation department, and the bus drivers, as many learned about roads closing en route and had to make quick adjustments. And as you know, our town is very spread out. There's 4 campuses plus the high school. There's a lot of logistics involved. I know it's not an easy task, and there's a little margin for error. So again, thanks for parents and all the central office staff for adjusting on the fly and making it all happen. That's all I have.
Good evening, everyone. In accordance with New Jersey's Anti-Bullying and Bill of Rights Act, the results of the HIV-related investigations as conducted by designated school personnel will be reported to the Board of Education no later than the date of a regular scheduled Board of Education meeting following the completion of an investigation. Our total numbers throughout the district of unfounded for this reporting period is 6, and total numbers for founded is 1. I'll break it down per school. Benedict A. Cuccinello School, number of reports received was 1, and it was 1 founded, 0 unfounded. Flocktown Cosmic School, number of reports received were 0. Old Farmers Road School, number of reports received were 3, 3 were unfounded, and 0 were founded. Long Valley Middle School, number of reports received were 3, 3 were unfounded, and 0 were founded. Also this evening, I will be reporting out the school self-assessment for determining HIV grades within the school year of 24-25. There are 8 core elements. The first core element that is rated, and everyone gets a score, and then we max out the score at the end, so I'll report that for school as well. The first one is HIV programs, approaches, or other initiatives. The second is training on BOE-approved HIV policy. The third is other staff instruction and training programs. The fourth is curriculum and instruction on HIV and related information and skills. The fifth is HIV personnel. The sixth is school-level HIV incident report procedure, and then HIV investigation procedure and HIV reporting. Again, the total max score that can be received across all of these elements is 78. And so now, with that, I'll label it per school. So Benedict A. Cuccinello received a 61. Flocktown Cosman School was 68. Old Farmers Road School was 63. And Long Valley Middle School was 65. And that concludes my reports.
Thank you very much. Next, we have the annual district testing report with Mr. Russo.
So this evening I am excited to share with you the results from the NJSLA that we took in the spring, 2025 results, and then also the dynamic learning maps, which is another assessment that our students take. So you'll get to hear some highlights of our data and also some, just a overall growth within our district. A little bit of background about the NJSLA before we dive into the data. Who was tested? All students in grades 3 to 8 across New Jersey take the NJSLA. There is a small portion of our students who qualify to take the DLM. This is for our severely cognitively impaired students in our district. I will share those results with you tonight as well. I believe there are 13 students who take that test. We also have our multilingual students who arrive in the United States after June 1st. Some of them may be exempt from the ELA portion of the test if they're new to our country. However, they do take the math portion. Testing occurred in May of 2025. In grade 3, we have 2 units over 2 days, 75 minutes for ELA. ELA in grades 4 through 8, 2 units over 2 days, 90 minutes. Math, grades 3 through 8 have 3 units over 3 days, each 60 minutes long. Algebra 1 and geometry. This past year was our first year for geometry, which I'm very excited to share those results with you. They have 2 units over 2 days, each 90 minutes. And in science, we test our students in grades 5 and 8. They have 4 units over 2 days, each 45 minutes. So this does take some time in our district, right? And it's important, I think, because we do invest as much time as we do, to look at these results and see what we need to do to make sure that our students can shine during this time period when they can take these tests. The format is in a computer-based format. We also have students who have IEPs that they take the test as well, and that is digitally. And we have multilingual students who may be offered the math portion test in Spanish. NJSLA is broken up into performance levels. There are 5 levels for ELA and for math. Level 1 is not yet meeting expectations. Then you have partially meeting, approaching, meeting, and exceeding. Those are the scale scores that are used to determine those levels. Oftentimes, in levels 4 and 5, you'll see that sometimes those scales change a bit based on the way that New Jersey sets those scores. When did we get the results? So the district received preliminary results in August. We get an initial analysis of those results. We then make sure that our teachers see those results in early September. On-demand reports are available through Pearson, and then we also have our student results set up in our Linkit data platform. Parents and guardians receive the results in mid to late September with their individual student reports mailed home, and also an online portal which is open to parents. The portal looks like this, and then also to your left side of the screen, that is what the student report looks like. Okay, so first we'll go into the DLMs. As I said before, in grades 3 through 8, we have 13 students taking this test. And you can see across in ELA, 8 were emerging, 5 were approaching, 0 at target, and 0 advanced. In grades 3 through 8 for mathematics, with our 13 students, we have 5 emerging, 7 approaching, 1 at target. Science in grades 5 and 8, we do not have enough students. We have 7 students in those grades. So anything that is less than 10, those results are suppressed for student price. Overall, how did we do in Washington Township? This is the report that we get from Pearson. Pearson set us up this way. So we have, if you look at the left side, our ELA scores. We have meeting and exceeding at 75%. This is all grades, all students. And in math, all grades, all students, 63%. So I'm going to break that down. ELA. Across this chart, you will see grades 3 through 8, and then an all grade analysis. The stars are next to the percentages of meeting and exceeding that grew from the year before. So we are looking at in grade 3 ELA, we have 56% of our students, this is all students, meeting or exceeding. 79% meeting or exceeding in grade 4, 79% in grade 5, which is the same as the previous year. 70% in grade 6, which is the same as the previous year. So we did go down, we stayed same. 83% in grade 7 and 82% in grade 8, and all around we have 75% meeting or exceeding. This is a part of our report that we are required to share as per the state mandate to do so. We have different subgroups within our program. We have our L population, our free and reduced lunch, section 504 students, our special education students, and then the general education students. Year over year, you can see from 2023 to our current results that I'm sharing with you this evening, in all areas of our subgroup population, you can see that growth forward. Again, this is that same population number for that subgroup population. This is also a report that we have to share as well based on race. So you can see the different nationalities and races across our district. We have our Asian population, our Black population, Hispanic, multiple race, and the white population within our district, and how we're doing in language arts. Interesting to look at gender, right? Gender is another subgroup that we look at. Proficiency by gender in grades 3 through 5, 75% of our female population are meeting or exceeding, 67% of our male, and then looking at our middle school students, the females in 83% meeting or exceeding, and 75% for our male population. This is always an interesting report for me to share with teachers because it shows, and parents like, it shows the cohort groups. So from year to year, are your third graders growing when they hit fourth grade? Are the fourth graders growing when they hit fifth grade? So these are same students in consecutive grades. So you can see the cohort in the first section over all the way to the left in grades 3 going to 4th, huge increase, right? So we look at our third grade scores in ELA. They typically are on the lower side of all of our scores because I believe that the students having the challenge of typing in the time frame that they're given and using that keyboard to be able to produce a quality piece of writing in 60 minutes is hard for a third grader. So over time, they learn their keyboarding skills and they get a little better at where the letters are to be able to formulate sentences and words faster, and we can see that in the growth in fourth grade. So overall, you can see we have some growth to show for that. Okay, digging into math. This was our first year of a new program. We moved from Everyday Math, which we had for 17 years, into Eureka Math Squared. Eureka Math Squared and any new program, you worry how students are going to do in their first year coming out of it. So the worry didn't have to happen. We stayed either the same or better in math, which in that will highlight some areas in math that I'm really, really excited about. Overall, in grade 3, we had 69% meeting or exceeding, an increase from the previous year. 61% in grade 4, grade 5, 66, grade 6, we have 58%, and in grade 7, 63%. Grade 8 math. Grade 8 math are our students who are not taking algebra, so you have those students who are receiving 32% meeting or exceeding. Our algebra students, 88%, and again, our first year in geometry, we had all students, 100%, meeting or exceeding expectations in geometry. 60% of our students taking geometry for the very first time exceeded expectations, which I think is amazing. And overall, 63% meeting expectations or exceeding expectations in mathematics. Year over year, 2023 to 2025, looking at our subgroup population, you can see our L population took a little bit of a dip. Free and reduced lunch, section 504, special education, and general education, you can see have shown growth over the past 3 years. Those numbers are similar to the ones I just shared, just broken down a little bit differently. And then also our subgroup for race, the same as we looked at for language arts. And by gender, interesting to note, equal, right? Female and male population receiving the same, 65% in our grades 3 through 5. And in our middle school, we have 59% of our females and 66% in our males meeting our Again, looking at that cohort achievement analysis that I shared earlier, looking at how students are doing, moving up the grades. In third to fourth, we saw a little bit of a dip. And I believe that may have something to do with the new program. So I'm looking to see where that goes, because from fourth to fifth, we did see a rise. So I think it was a lot of that comfort level with a lot of the new expectations. And then overall, the cohorts did go up. Science. The science test on the NJSLA is taken by two groups, right? Grade 5 and grade 8. The students are scaled differently on this particular test. In the last scores that I shared with you for math and for language arts, there are 5 areas, right, that we're looking at. This has 4. So we're looking more at the near proficient, the proficient, and obviously the advanced proficient. What I like to see is that we have students there are many students in grade 8 near proficient, which means that they are proficient in science. It's just that this test is very different than the other 2 tests. In fact, this year, and I want to mention even later, that the NJSLA has changed format for next year, so the data next year is going to be very interesting to share with you, because it's a whole new company. Pearson lost the contract with New Jersey, except for science. So we will still continue to use Pearson for science, so science data will continue to be at least being able to compare apples to apples. But the NJSLA portion for math and for language arts will be very different. Candy is the new test. Again, as reporting, we also have our race analysis and our gender analysis, which shows that the female and male analysis for science is relatively the same. This I like to look at because I want to see how we were doing over same grade, different students, and how our curriculum may have advanced a bit, and how we made some changes in what we were teaching in grade 5. And you can see that there was an increase from 33% to 42%. The science test itself is very reading based, right? The students aren't doing experiments. They're not, reporting on, things that they're observing, right? So what they do in the science test is they're looking at data. They're looking at charts, graphs, analysis, a lot of reading of experiments, right? So what we have done, and New Jersey has done, is they've separated out the measurement and data standards in math. Separating those out gives more emphasis on the data standards. So because of that, the students are looking at these kinds of things more often, not only in science, but also in math. So knowing that and knowing how things have changed in our standards will help us when we look at how our science scores are going. Speaking of science scores, so what I did here, I did a close analysis of the different sections of science. And the sections within the science, they have critiquing practices. I know that's so small for you to say, but the bottom section there is critiquing practices, earth and space science, investigating practices, life science, physical science, and also sense-making practices. In each one of those, and there's our years that are listed there, 2021 all the way to our most current 24-25 school year, those numbers have increased each time you've taken the test. In life science, our percentage increased by 12%, which I thought was a fantastic number. 10% also in earth and space science, 5 in the others. So we're moving in the right direction because now we understand a little bit more of what's being asked of our students in this particular test. So each of these areas have increased over time. This I'm also very excited to share. I like to look in the data for the highlights where we can really talk about the wonderful things our teachers are doing with students and the way that students are responding. This is how do our kids write? How are our kids doing in writing in Washington Township? And I am very confident to say that our kids can write. So looking at these scores, you can see year over year for writing conventions, so that's grammar mechanics, and then also written expression, actually being able to write in 3 different genres. When they take this test, they have to do what I call on-demand writing. They're given a prompt, they have to quick think about it, they read a couple things, sometimes a poem, or they watch a video, or they do some kind of analysis of 2 different articles, and then they have to plan for it, or read it, think about it, plan for it, and type it. It's a lot, right? It's a lot to ask. And in that, you can see year over year, our students are doing an amazing job with that. They have to write narrative, they have to write expository, and they have to write an LAT, which is a literary analysis task. So each day, they have to do something a little bit different when it comes to their writing repertoire, right? And be able to perform on demand in a very short amount of time. So looking at that, I also wanted to highlight that 87% of all of our 5th grade students, those are students who are ML students, students with 504, students with IEP, students who are at risk, 87% of our grade 5 students meet or exceed in written expression. So proud of that. I happen to have a 5th grade teacher in the audience, so I'm very, very happy to share that data. And then looking at our grade 6 through 8th grade, our results have continued, so you can see across the board that we have our students, again, in conventions and in expression, 76% and 75%. Now this is what I'm very excited to share. One of the goals of moving to a new program in mathematics was, and we've looked at this before, is why are our numbers for exceeding expectations not higher? We've asked that question before. So looking at the current data after 1 year of our new program and also our big ideas, which is happening in the upper grades, looking just at exceeding expectations, we are seeing remarkable gains in mathematical achievement data, particularly in the exceeding expectations category. In many cases, the number of students performing above grade level has doubled or even tripled compared to last year. So these are the students who are, quote unquote, good at math, right? So those students who get math really got math this past time when they had to take the NJSLA. We believe, looking at this data, that this significant growth highlights not only the effectiveness of our math instruction and curriculum, the implementation, but also the hard work of our teachers and our students. Going through a program in the first year, or even a few years, as Big Ideas has been for the middle school, takes a lot of work for not only the students, but also the teachers. It reflects a deep understanding of mathematical concepts, stronger critical thinking skills across grade levels. These results are a powerful indicator of our efforts making a lasting impact. So if these kids are moving forward, we can only expect that to happen for all of our students in mathematics. So these are, like I said before, the lasting impact, and they set a strong foundation of continued academic success. So this is the hope that it'll, move to some of those other areas within the expectation scale of the NJSLA. So just breaking it down a little bit, in grades 3 through 5, these are different schools that I've listed this way. So we had students in grades 3. In grade 3, go from, we had 7% exceeding expectations the year prior to 20% this past year. And you can see how the data goes here, right? 7% to 14%, 8% to 16%. In 4th grade, 2% to 7.5, 3% to 14%. And at middle school, it was no growth there. It wasn't anything decreased, but there wasn't more growth. In grade 5, you can see this one. This one's pretty awesome. 3% to 13, and then 11 to 23. Grade 6 through 8, you can see in grade 6, 4% to 10, 3% to 13% in grade 7, and in algebra, 5% to 12% meeting or exceeding, and then of course our geometry kids knocked it out of the park with 60% exceeding expectations. This is something that we started to do last year, as you may remember, and this data literally just came in yesterday for us. So I scrambled to get it ready for tonight. But I'm able to share with you compared to our district factor group. And we know that our district factor group hasn't been done since, and then when I say it 2000, but that's 25 years ago. That's a long time ago. But when you look at other districts, when we were looking at districts, kind of compared to us, right? So Livingston, Randolph, Montville, Denville, Madison, North Plains, Bedminster, Hanover Park, Sparta, and Bridgewater, Raritan. You can see what the DFG was, where we were, and then the difference in that, and then also the increase for us. I wanted to add here over year for us, right? So 2024 to 2025. And mathematics, same thing here. You can see the difference. I mentioned before, what do we do with this data? What do we do with the data specifically for students who may be struggling? I wanted to highlight our multi-tier system of support that we have in our district. We have a very strong system of intervention, looking at our students who are perhaps in need of a targeted intervention in Tier 2 or in Tier 3, which is more intensive. However, the core instruction in Tier 1 is where we differentiate for our students who need anything different from outside the regular curriculum. And that happens within our classroom. MTSS is not a separate program, but it's a way of organizing instruction and intervention to help all of our students. And that's why we use the data. MTSS has that 3 tiers so that all students are targeted in some way so that their learning needs are met. These are some of the additional assessments besides NJSLA that we use to look at students. I always talk about our students' data stories and looking at the data to see what it is we can do to either help or strengthen any of their academic needs. You can see in Tier 1, we have our MAP assessment, we have benchmark data. This year, we are doing DIBELS across the board, kindergarten through grade 3. Those results will be coming home shortly to our kindergarten through grade 3 families. In kindergarten, first grade, second grade, there are many opportunities for students to show what they know. And then from there too, we can move on to other specific assessments where we can also try to figure out what's going on to either help or strengthen a student in Tier 2, and then more assessments that we can possibly use to diagnose and figure out what a student may need in Tier 3. I did want to highlight that because it isn't just about NJSLA. There are many other things that we look at to really try to get a full picture of what a student is experiencing through our curriculum and our instruction. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Great job again. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for that. It's very informative. Good job. Thank you. Moving on to correspondence. This month we have correspondence from L. Mason and S. Garcillo. Next is committee reports. Can you start with the Education Committee?
So the Education Committee met twice this month. First was Friday, September 18th at 11:45 a.m. In attendance was myself, Rob Vasquez, Melanie Breton, Mrs. Russo, our Director of Curriculum, and Mrs. Lind. First, the committee discussed the parent university ideas for the school year. Mrs. Russo and Mrs. Gately will plan accordingly for upcoming evenings in the month of October and November. The topic of a presentation explaining the MTSS process was also considered. Future presentations would likely incorporate the district CPAG and our special education attorney. Next, Mrs. Lind shared that she will be sending out her first book club communication for the Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haddock. An update for PD was also shared. K-1 support for arts and letters and foundations, and for unification and security and special education PD. preschool intervention speech, LDTC training on testing, and Eureka Math Squared with Dave Jones. Stacy Davis will also be providing internal PD to support multi-sensory instruction, OG, foundations, and project. Lastly, the committee planned for a follow-up meeting to discuss the district's AI plan. Next, the committee met on Friday, September 26th at 5:30. In attendance was myself, Rob Waskus, John Nixon, Melanie Bratton, Mrs. Gately, and Mrs. Gately, our technology coordinator, and Superintendent Lynn. The committee was presented with an AI presentation together by Mrs. Gately. She gave an overview of some of the emerging tech that would allow us to effectively use AI as a tool in our district. The committee then discussed preliminary plans for implementing and safeguarding AI. In year one, we would develop a clear vision, framework, and guidelines based on research and teacher feedback. In year two, the goal would be to plan and allocate budget to phase a rollout of student-facing AI tools across the district that focuses on supporting students' responsible use to enhance learning. A policy for this district planning will be further discussed in the governance meeting.
Thank you. Moving on to Finance and Facilities Committee.
Finance and Facilities Committee also met twice over the last month, first on September 30th. Members present were Jess, Lindsay, Mike, Antonella, Katie, Stephanie, and me. The subject of the meeting was renewal of the expiring SRO contract with the town. Our second meeting was on October 6th. The members present were Jess, Lindsay, Mike, Antonella, Katie, Stephanie, and me. We began with a presentation from one of the district's insurance brokers, Dave Altman of Altman Risk Management. Dave gave an overview of the risk insurance market, as well as a 10-year history of the district's premiums and increases. He also provided suggestions on how we, as a district, can further mitigate risks relative to his area of expertise. Next, the committee reviewed the cost of Destination Imagination, specifically the travel costs associated with the national level competition. The committee is exploring potential fundraising courses of action in support of future trips. And the committee discussed a donation previously accepted from gym leaders for mindfulness sessions. Due to the cancellation of the lesson provider, the committee looked at areas where the donation might be reallocated, subject to approval by the gym leaders. Next, the committee reviewed the bid for snow plowing and salting, which is item number 12 on tonight's agenda. There was one bid received, and comparing that to the previous contract, the price for snow removal for a 3-inch snowstorm was essentially flat. Salting went up 10% due to supply chain issues, and snow removal of more than 6 inches of snow rose 15%. Finally, the committee reviewed the 24-25 audit, which will be presented at next month's meeting. The committee discussed recommendations from the auditors for the 26-27 budget. And in good news, the district was able to make a $568,469 deposit into the capital reserve fund, bringing the total capital reserve fund to $3,976,984.
Thanks, Rob. Communication and Governance Committee.
The governance committee met on Wednesday, October 1st at 12 p.m. The members present were myself, Melanie, Jess, Isabel, and the superintendent. We initially discussed the disability policy that was proposed. We're currently reviewing additional edits prior to the first read. We also reviewed the 504 policy and regulation, and that's ready for the first read. We discussed at length the virtual meeting policy that was proposed, and at this time, we decided we didn't see a need for this. We will revisit it if it does become an issue and there's other issues that may arise. Finally, we discussed the AI policy and academic integrity that are intertwined together, and we're working on these policies and we'll bring them to first read as soon as we can. They're pretty cumbersome since it's going to take a bit.
Thank you. Moving on to public comment on agenda items. If anybody has a public comment on agenda items, please approach the microphone, say your name, address, and you'll have 3 minutes. Moving on to approval of minutes. Making a motion to approve the September 9th regular meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Any abstentions? Okay. Next, can I have somebody please move education?
Education would like to make a motion to move items number 1 through the fund.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Catano?
Yes.
Mrs. Viera?
Yes.
Mrs. Succi?
Yes.
Mr. Waskis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bratton? Yes. Mr. Holly?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes. Next, can I have somebody please move finance?
Finance would like to move item number 6 on tonight's agenda, a motion to accept with gratitude $500 worth of hub resources and digital professional development from empowered writers that used at the Cuccinella School in Deborah Hinley's class to help elevate writing instructions in the classroom.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Catano?
Yes.
Mrs. Viera?
Abstain.
Mrs. Succi?
Yes.
Mr. Waskis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bratton? Yes. Mr. Holly?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Finance would like to move items number 7 through 15 on tonight's agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Catano?
Yes.
Mrs. Viera?
Abstain.
Mrs. Succi?
Yes.
Mr. Waskis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bratton? Yes. Mr. Holly?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes. Next, can I have somebody please move personnel?
Personnel would like to make a motion to accept with regret the following retirement. Diane Bramwell, instructional aide, Janella School, effective December 1st, 2025, after 5 years of service in the district. Motion to accept with regret the following resignation. Larry Spradley, part-time custodian, Janella, effective October 11th, 2025.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Catano?
Yes.
Mrs. Viera?
Yes.
Mrs. Succi?
Yes.
Mr. Waskis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bratton? Yes. Mr. Holly?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Personnel would like to make a motion to accept items 18 through 30.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Catano?
Yes.
Mrs. Viera?
Yes.
Mrs. Succi?
Yes.
Mr. Waskis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bratton? Yes. Mr. Holly?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes. Next, I'd like to make a motion to read for the first time the policies under agenda item number 31.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Catano?
Yes.
Mrs. Viera?
Yes.
Mrs. Succi?
Yes.
Mr. Waskis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bratton? Yes. Mr. Holly?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes. Next, does anybody have any unfinished business? Does anybody have any new business? Moving on to public comment. This is public comment on all items. Please approach the microphone, state your name and address. 3 minutes.
Hi, Joe Hamill, 64 and up over. I just had a quick question. I didn't know if the board has any ability to influence the construction in town and its impact on the school district. I think I emailed you late this afternoon. So I was just wondering if the board can help influence or affect it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And specifically the road construction, is that what you're talking about? Like paving
Yeah,
projects?
sorry.
Yeah.
We commuted from Hastings to the middle school on Clocktown, and this morning I think it was multiple detours on Schooley's Mountain. Some of them seem like they're detouring into each other, as well as on all right after trying to avoid Schooley's Mountain.
Yeah, right. I can respond in a second. I'll just let everybody have a public comment, and then I'll address any other comments, if you don't mind. Yeah, if you don't mind. In case anybody has any comments, otherwise I'll get right to your question. Does anybody else have any public comment? Right. I mean, I'll let you chime in if you want, but I had actually called Mayor Marino about it when I think it was maybe a week or two ago, just to try to see if we can get any sort of additional heads up on paving projects before they start. He's looking into some things, but I know specifically, I believe Schooley's Mountain Road is a county road, and I don't think that they have any sort of indication on when that was actually even going to start, if I'm mistaken. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I believe that was the recollection of the conversation. I did ask him to see, the only other thing I could think of is if we could have sort of a heads up on potential projects, so our transportation coordinator could be coordinating not the morning of it as it's happening, but rather try to plan for it ahead of time. I'm waiting to hear back from the mayor on that one to see if there's anything else we can do, but I don't know if you have anything else you can add to that.
No, so we've been collaborating as best as possible as well, and the difference is, county roads sometimes are, if they decide that they're going to work on whatever given time and they don't have enough notice, it even affects even his coverage on the road, the police department as well and such. So, sometimes they do the best they can, we're all doing the best that we can to communicate as quickly and as, efficiently as possible. Sometimes it doesn't seem that way, obviously, even myself. Sometimes trying to get from one building to the other. I had an appointment with the police department the other day, and I said to him, I was like, I didn't miss the appointment, I'm here, I just can't get to you. I said, I'll park and walk, So we're all struggling with that. I will say the transportation department is just doing such a phenomenal job at trying to really stay ahead of it and make sure that they're getting to almost sometimes over, just to make sure that they really are getting to all the families. So just a little bit of additional patience, but I assure you, we all are collaborating and communicating as much as possible. Considering.
Thanks for the question. Moving on to district distinctions. In curriculum, ELA teachers across the district in grades 1 to 5 recently came together to score writing benchmark number 1. During these collaborative half-day workshops, teachers engage in meaningful discussions about student writing, identify strengths, areas for growth, and strategies to support improvement. Eureka Math Squared professional training this month focused on guided observations. Elementary administrators, the director of curriculum instruction, and our district math coach, Dave Jones, joined our Eureka Math instructional coach to visit classrooms, reflect on instruction, and determine next steps to strengthen math teaching and learning across the district. In special education, on September 22nd, attorney Robin S. Ballard Esquire provided an important professional development opportunity for the Child Study Team members as it provided critical legal updates and procedural guidance directly tied to special education compliance and IEP implementation. The session accomplished many things, including clarification of new state requirements under PL 2025, including stricter IEP meeting timelines, enhanced parental notification protocols, and expectations for documenting evaluation planning and eligibility decisions, to name a few. A lot of the schools this week took part in the Week of Respect, where classrooms focused on responsibility, respect, safety, persistence, and kindness. There was also Fire Prevention Week, where some students learned about fire safety, emergency procedures, and prevention tips directly from our community's firefighters, including from the Schoolies Mountain Volunteer Fire Company, where they showed students a real fire truck and the tools and gear they used to protect the town. At Cuccinella, the PTO-sponsored fun run took place on Monday, October 6th, bringing together students, families, and staff for a day filled with smiles and school spirit. We're thrilled to announce that we met our fundraising goal of $40,000. These funds will help us purchase a StarLab planetarium, a hands-on science experience that will complement the district's new STEM initiatives, bringing learning to life for our students. In Flocktown Cosman, congratulations to the 2nd and 4th graders who won the September 4 Pause Awards in their respective schools for grade level, who showed the greatest adherence to our core values. Also, congratulations to Mrs. Martiri and Mrs. Mullington's class for winning the attendance award. The school has a hydroponic garden. Thank you to all the hard work in Mrs. Swing and Mrs. Inskeep's class on helping it come to life. They currently have poblano peppers, cherry tomatoes, and mini squash blooming in the garden, with lettuce seeds starting in a few weeks. We love providing these types of opportunities for our students to help them make real-world connections and be able to care for something in order to watch it grow and thrive. At Old Farmers, during the Week of Respect Spirit Days, the Old Farmers hosted the first Keys to Kindness Assembly, where students took place in a year-long kindness initiative that incorporated kindness, accountability, responsibility, teamwork, and community building. And the TREPS program is underway, and the PTO's Color Run is coming up on October 19th. At LVMS, it's gearing up for student elections. Elections will take place on October 16th and 17th. We look forward to hearing from our ambitious student leaders, and once elected, are looking forward to working with our new student leaders. Best of luck to all the candidates. And at LB Met Small Store Sports are enjoying a successful season so far. Congratulations to LB Met Panther athletes. Clubs are also underway. It's fantastic seeing the overwhelming involvement from all of our LB Met Panthers. And last, in technology news, there's a parent University Technology Workshop on October 22nd at 7 p.m. I think I saw an email for that right before the meeting. And it's going to be here in the cafeteria at Cuccinella. And with that, I'd like to make a